Hello and welcome to the Universal Magic Travel Podcast. My name is John. I am one of your hosts, and I'm joined by Alyssa's not here. I normally go right to Alyssa, but I have my man Johnny here. He's gonna work with me tonight. We got a lot to cover. Disney dropped a lot of information today regarding Epcot, and consequently, I will be in Epcot in about 4 days. So we'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how things go as far as like the transformation. So Johnny, how's it going?
Man, it's great. It'd be better. It'd be a lot cooler if I was in Epcot or on my way to Disney World, but I really can't complain. Things are good. I'm busy. I'm wearing my 50th anniversary hat, and I'm good. I'm happy to be talking about Disney, man.
Yeah, it's so. If you've been with us since the inception of the podcast, the first episode, I hedged my bets on the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster opening. I hit it, and then the date that I got it was the date that I was there. The second day I was there was the day it opened. And if you follow me on social media, I posted the video of my reaction to it off my Ring camera. I'm not going to play it because it'll probably make your ears bleed. That being said, it's very entertaining. It was real because I'm a Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy fanboy.
Listen, the energy from that video could have fueled Monstropolis. All right, if we're gonna keep it Disney related, the energy there, that could have fueled them up, man. Could have broke some records.
Yeah, we're gonna once I get this the podcast platform figured out, we're going to like have that as a drop for like news and stuff like that. So anyway, going into our topics tonight, a lot of like stuff was just dropped regarding Epcot and the transformation that has been forever going. I think they announced the Epcot overhaul in 2017. So now we're finally getting a scaled down version. And a lot of us can like argue the semantics of, is it the pandemic? Is it not? I think what they initially planned was very expensive. Now what you're getting is a more modest version of it. And I'll try to show some pictures here. But the first thing that they reviewed today was at the festival building that they announced. In the beginning, like the 3-story building in the middle, that is no mo. That is gone. So let me show real quickly what Disney Parks blog shared. So the area here is supposed to be where the festival building was. Now that's gone. You have the Moana Journey of Water over there. So yeah, it's basically a lot of it's gone, and it's a more modest version.
Lots of trees.
Lots of trees, which will be nice
Lots.
because I mean, not a lot of trees, but I mean, not a lot of shade in that area.
And the image depicts foliage like the seasons, which if they were able to capture that, I'm from the north. You're from the north too, so you know what it looks like for the trees to change. So the images kind of capture, you got the yellow trees, and if they were able to capture the seasons in there, I think that would be a cool touch because there's nothing like Disney in the fall and in the winter, like they capture the seasons with decorations. But if they are going to be that earthy in there, if they could capture the seasons, by the just the trees and the changing of the colors, that would be something cool.
They're basically turning Future World into Festival Land, which is fine because Epcot is the festival park. That's where you go for food and wine. That's where you go for flower and garden. You go for all these things, and it's great, except now you're kind of like hemming yourself in, and you're kind of losing the theming. I mean, the Guardians coaster, I'm excited for. Like, I will be there. I'm counting the hours at this point. But it's not really Epcot. It's not really what Walt intended it to be. And that's just my opinion. I stand by that because it's like, okay, what else are we going to do here? You're not going to add another pavilion. You're not really, put another ride in there. I mean, the Moana attraction I think is going to be great, and a lot of people are going to marvel at in the beginning, but it's missing something.
So
I don't know if you agree.
When Animal Kingdom decided to build Pandora, I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was ridiculous. It didn't make sense to me. Now, I'm so happy they did it because
Yeah.
it is awesome. It is incredible. So, there's decisions that Disney's made that people don't like, and there's decisions they made that people love. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. As long
Mm-hmm.
as they keep the spirit of World, I feel like it is the festival park.
Mm-hmm.
And, World Showcase is incredible. Everything outside of World Showcase, Spaceship Earth is one of my favorite rides.
Mm-hmm.
I love Soarin', I love Test Track. So I feel like outside of World Showcase, I'm okay with them throwing in something like this. If they were to throw Guardians of the Galaxy into World Showcase, I'd be like, okay, it don't belong. But the fact that they keep them separate, because it's almost like I do Epcot, like I do 4 or 5 hours of rides, and then the rest of the time, like as the sun goes down, I'm walking around the world. I'm shopping, I'm eating. So as long as they keep that separate and they keep the spirit of that, and again, I know what you're saying. The world of the future, like that was kind of Walt's vibe for Epcot, and that's not what we're getting. But where it is now, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. It is what it is. I think what this means, though, for the Spaceship Earth overhaul that really needs it,
Yeah.
is it's paused like permanently until they can get all this stuff finished. They put so much capital, and we were talking about at pre-show how, you're kind of wondering like what the excuse is for all this stuff not being handled. Finished. You're a $1 billion corporation. You haven't finished Tron yet. You're just now finishing Guardians. What else do you have? You have, competitors like Universal chomping at the bit to just, overtake you.
Yeah. Epic Universe is coming up quick, but I do think I think with Disney it's strategic. I think that they're selling tickets and they like to give the guest something to look forward to, and I think they know a lot of us are Disney nuts and we go often, so they want to give us something to come back for, and I think it kind of stinks because I'd like Tron to be open. I was just there a month and a half ago. I would have loved Guardians of the Galaxy to be open, but I know I'm going to go back. But it stinks for the people who can't go every year. It stinks for the people that can only go once every 10 years, once every 5 years. But it does give them something to look forward to. And we don't know. We don't sit in those meetings, so we don't know why it's taken so long. But we do know that the Imagineers, like, they put so much effort into this stuff, and I've heard nothing but good things about Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Remy's. All right, so Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I wasn't excited about that because I loved the Great Movie Ride, man. Like, something about those nostalgic rides. So the Great Movie Ride was to me what Spaceship Earth is in Epcot. Like that ride, I love to sit down and be a kid, and it's a long ride, and then so I wasn't happy. Dude, Mickey and Minnie's, awesome. Remy's Ratatouille, I heard bad things about, and I actually liked it. I don't think it's great, but I thought it was okay. But I've heard nothing but good things about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm sure Tron is going to be incredible. I can't wait.
Honestly, like, for me, our first trip, my wife and I, we rode the Great Movie Ride. We loved it.
Yeah,
of
course.
And
of
then
course
we were kind of like, we didn't see the appeal of Mickey and Minnie's, but that's my favorite ride. That music,
it's awesome.
If that doesn't make your day, like, come on, check your pulse.
I feel like that ride, you start the day there, and if you do Hollywood Studios all day, like if you do 12 hours there, 10 hours there, I end the day there. Like before I go out, it's twice in one day. It's awesome.
Yep. So the next piece of news, and this was the cat was kind of let out of the bag earlier this week when you had cast members inadvertently, let's just call it what it is, inadvertently releasing Magic Band Plus. So I was kind of disappointed that this didn't happen when I was there, because I would have bought one and probably annoyed my wife. But anyway,
they put them. I think they put them on the shelves.
They did.
By accident, and then they quickly pulled them. So some people bought them, and I think they're offering them refunds. So I'm sure some people didn't give them back.
Yeah.
They're probably. You go on eBay. You could probably buy one right now.
I will check eBay real fast while we're talking.
Yeah, you'll get tackled. You'll
yeah.
walk in through the turnstile and they'll tackle you and take your Magic Band Plus, which
So,
won't be easy
yeah.
because you're like 6'7". So
6'10".
6'10". Oh man, I shorted you a few inches.
Yes. So a lot of this though is really cool because there was like a mystery building in Galaxy's Edge that like is some interactive Star Wars bounty hunter experience, and then you have the digital assistant that they talked about. I think it was like D23 and a half, where like it was kind of the announcements where they talked a lot about what's coming to the parks, but it wasn't actually a D23 because it was actually in Orlando. So like there's that. So there's a lot of stuff coming to the park tech wise, and if you are not really familiar with Disney World, it's a very tech centric.
Oh my gosh.
Place. There's so much technology there, from your magic bands to like, I mean, I'm using my phone as my webcam, but I mean, you have your passes now are on your Apple Wallet. And like even your DVC card is on your wallet
which
now.
kind of frustrated me. You know, I want the hard. I want to take the card. I don't want to go to my phone, but we got to adapt, man.
And be like,
yeah,
please, I'm a DVC member,
dude. But they don't take it no more. Now, when I was there, they like some people busted my chops, and I was like, man, I get stressed out as a travel agent every time they make a change. You know, I need to catch up. I need to dive in because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for all of the clients that trust me. You know, I got to make sure I know what's going on so that they can know what's going on. So, you know, all this new technology, it stresses me out until I get it because I'm a creature of habit. You know, I know what's worked for me in the past. I know what's worked for my clients in the past. I like to be in that comfort zone. And right now there's so much change going on. Eventually, I'm sure it'll kind of settle down and we'll settle into, you know, the new system. But with all this change, you know, I'm trying to catch on. So these Magic Band Plus, man, it'll be interesting to see what all these do. I saw that the 50th anniversary, the gold statues all over.
Yes,
like you could
react
swipe
with the gold statue.
Yeah, so I wonder what else it does, you know?
Yeah, this will be really, and this is one of the things that like Disney does well. They do technology well, and they do the gimmicky technology well. Let's call this for what it is. It's a gimmicky technology. You buy a Magic Band, like I have an Avengers Thanos one with him holding the Infinity Gauntlet. I bought it up because like, hey, that's a collector's item. I didn't really need it. I have like 50 million Magic Bands, but hey, it's cool.
Right. Well, we were going to talk about Disneyland tonight. We're going to save that for an episode. But over there, you go on Web Slingers. They have like pieces you can buy that interact with the ride, and I'm sure that's coming out here, man. And I'm sure that's in their mind with this stuff. Like there's going to be rides out here where there's going to be things you could buy to upgrade the experience.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Like yeah. I mean, and the funny thing too is I was looking prior to the show about the whole deal that Universal has with that Disney has with Marvel and Universal, and how Disney can't have anything Marvel east of the Mississippi, you know, because
there's certain characters. There's some of them that are free range, you know, but
like
a lot
Guardians
of them
the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Marvel,
yeah,
yours truly happened to see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness tonight. Sam Raimi, man. Right here, man. Seriously, that was great. I mean, for what it was not your typical Marvel movie. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was dark. Just dark. But really good. Stay till the end. The very last cutscene is great, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Are there characters in it that I won't expect to see?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes. And I called it a couple episodes ago. There was a preview for Avatar 2, and I think hold on, let me see what the title of it was. The Way of Water. And it's coming out. They actually aired the trailer for it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to watch it because I've seen Avatar in theaters like 10 times. I love that movie. But I was like, okay, yeah, what's the point here? And it was kind of that way through a lot of the previews. It's like, okay, what's the point? So, when are you planning on seeing Doctor Strange?
Man, so I might go Saturday night. So I was supposed to have.
Yes.
I play flag football on Saturdays, and we were supposed to start the season this Saturday. And then I found out they're pushing it off a week. I wish I would have known earlier because I would have bought tickets because that's my night. And now, no way, everything's sold out. So it won't be Sunday because Sunday's Mother's Day. And to all you mothers out there listening to this episode,
Yes,
we appreciate you.
Alyssa.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Leslie.
Yeah,
if she
and
listens,
Leslie.
yes, a new mother again. So, happy Mother's Day, but it'll probably be next week. I like to take my son. My son's 10 years old, so some say he's a little young, but he went to see the Batman with me. The first movie I ever took him to see was Big Hero 6. He was like 4 years old. So that was the first movie me and him ever went to, and since then we've gone to a lot of Disney movies, a lot of Marvel movies, and we saw No Way Home, and so I'll take him. So hopefully next week, sooner rather than later. I can't wait.
So, and that brings us to, I was going to talk about this before, but we talked about like my upcoming trip. So I leave Sunday. I ride Guardians on Monday. I might go live on the Facebook page if I can get the stupid thing to work. Not on the attraction itself, but just talking about my experience with it. I've tried so hard to stay off YouTube and like the POVs for this ride. I'm like, I want to go unsullied. I want to just, be able to enjoy it. Everything I've read, it's spectacular. So I am really chomping at the bit. In fact, when I put this trip together, I'm staying at 3 resorts in 4 nights. 2 nights at Saratoga, 1 night at Beach Club, 1 night at Poly. So it's gonna be incredible. But yeah, this is gonna be my 3rd or 4th trip since the shutdown, and I kind of wanted to like talk about our experiences, Johnny, about as far as expectation versus reality. So
since the park
reopened, yeah, I should have prefaced that. So since the park reopened, a lot has changed. It changes constantly, from mask policy to no mask policy, to masks on transportation, masks not on transportation. A lot of changes. So I wanted to just break it down. What do you think is like, you've been there a couple times since it's reopened. What do you think has changed in your experience, for the bad and for the better?
So first, when I came during the pandemic, like when they opened back up last November, December, and it was quiet because there was limited capacity. But now that's out the door. It's out the door, and not only is it out the door, it seems like a lot of people who, I think it's almost like there's 2 years of guests coming right now, because there's a lot of people who wanted to go during the pandemic and couldn't. Then there's a lot of people who wanted to go right after it and couldn't. So it is very crowded. Like it is, it's very busy. And not only is it busy, they're throwing a lot of change at you. So like your note's saying here, like it's huge. You utilize a travel agent. This ain't a sales pitch. This is like a rationality / keep your sanity pitch. Like there's so much when you get there. You want to have a plan. You want to know what the new tech is, how to use it, how to adapt to it, so that you can navigate these crowds, because you can have a good time. Of course you can have a good time. It's Disney World, but you can maximize and get the most out of your time. So I feel like my expectation the last time I went there, so during the pandemic it was quiet, and then when I came back in December of this past year, I thought it was going to be quiet again, and it wasn't. So it's back to business as usual.
I think we went right when the parks reopened around September, and my wife said to me after, she's like, it just didn't feel magical. And I think what part of it was is because the crowds weren't there. Part of the fun of being there is interacting with other people, talking about your excitement for the ride. I mean, I'm a perpetual tip giver. Like, I tell people all the time, if I can, because I know the parks like the back of my hand. Hey, I'm a travel agent. I know where people, go. I give them advice for what to do, because I'm a natural extrovert. Like, I can sit and make conversation with anybody. It's one of my gifts. Fast forward to the last time I was there in December, it was a complete 180. It was a great time. You have Christmas in the Magic Kingdom. It was starting to feel back. I mean, heck, they announced Mickey's Not So Scary and not Boo Bash. Now, who knows what we're going to get out of that? I mean, but still, Mickey's Not So Scary is some of the best times that I've had in the park. And so it's kind of a return to normal. More than anything, I think that's kind of where we're
at. Who'd you go as last time you went?
I went as the ice cream guy from Lilo and Stitch.
Did we say this on air? I feel like we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we did. And then the time after that, I went as a guy in a prisoner costume with this same letterboard saying DVC member sentenced to a lifetime of vacations. So as kind of I'm just really creative like that. But I think that, like, I've had conversations with cast members about, and who cares what leadership is on, who's in charge. I think the people that make it magical are the cast members. I think I love the cast members there. I've only had one bad interaction with a cast member, and that was it. It was because, being a tall guy, I request certain rows on, like, Pirates because I need the leg room, and the guy wouldn't give it to me, and I was with my father-in-law, and it's kind of crowded, and I was kind of unhappy. That being said, it was a great time. I mean, I've had, probably this is going to be my 15th trip in the last 5 years, and, like, we've had all but one bad trip. It just didn't feel the same, and it's because limited staffing. Now you have all these cast members coming back that really are spectacular, and you're starting to see, who knows when Fantasmic comes back, Hoop-Dee-Doo's coming back. I love Hoop-Dee-Doo. In fact, our trip over the 4th of July, we're taking our niece and nephew to Hoop-Dee-Doo because it's just quintessential Disney.
As these things open up, it's more places for people to go, which opens up availability and other things. I do notice that dining, I feel like dining has been so hard to get.
Yes.
Like, it has been, that might be the biggest change right now. It's been trying, but also, that being said, I also need to state that my last 2 trips were big trips. Like, I was with 16 people, and then I was with 8 people, so I need to say that, but I've never had as difficult a time as I'm having right now.
Even with
dining.
me by myself, this upcoming trip, like, I happened to land in Ohana today for my arrival day on Sunday. I'm like, perfect. I'll arrive at the resort. I'll immediately take a bus to Magic Kingdom, take the monorail over, and go eat some food.
Man, I want to do Space 220.
Yes,
so if we go to the convention, the Moments of Magic travel, if we go together, please, we need to. I want to ride the space elevator. Get me on. Somebody, if you know somebody, get me on the space elevator, please.
So here's the thing: we have 3 resorts in like 6 days when we take my niece and nephew. We had our second crack at Space 220. Nothing. You mean to tell me that the restaurant is that booked up at 6 a.m. in the morning?
I saw a tweet from somebody who supposedly works there. Somebody retweeted it on Disney Twitter that I trust. And it could be baloney, but I think it said if you get there to Space 220 in the morning, like 10 a.m., and walk up, you're guaranteed to get a chance to eat there sometime throughout the day. Like, they have walk-up availability. So what we'll do is, one of us will go to Guardians of the Galaxy, start waiting in line. The other will go to Space 220 and check in.
Coincidentally, then, what I'm going to do on Monday is I'm going to ride Guardians, immediately hightail it over to Space 220 and be like, I'll take the steak. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll take the space elevator.
Yes, I want to take the space elevator.
Yeah.
So we talked about it's not magical, but it is. Everything changes all the time. Is there anything else that we haven't quite touched on as far as, with everything changing? I mean, expectation versus reality since real.
Well, maybe we could talk about the 50th, and again, not to be a knock, because I understand there's a lot going on, but I guess I thought, because I went there in December, so it's like 2 months after the 50th. I thought that the 50th was going to be a little more grandiose than it was, than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sound like a complainer, because I think there were a lot of curveballs thrown Disney's way, and it was hard for them. But that is one thing I feel like, if we didn't have the pandemic, and this is like first world problems. Like I'm saying, if we didn't have a pandemic, the 50th would have been great. And there's tons of other things that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have a pandemic. So I don't want to sound not sensitive to those other things. But speaking of Disney, because that's what we're talking about right now, I assume the 50th would have been a lot more grandiose.
Mm-hmm. I mean, from what I've experienced, I wanted a little bit more pizzazz with the 50th, because you are celebrating a man who brought a legacy to not only Florida, but just in Imagineering, period. What he brought to entertainment, period, he should be celebrated. I mean, I think in a more grandiose fashion. I mean, especially how far that park's come. So I definitely agree. I'm a little disappointed that the merch always gets snatched up by.
Yeah. It's hard to find good merch.
Yes, very good, very hard.
I got my Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, huge statue. That's my 50th merch in my hat. I came home with some.
The only thing I came home was with this shirt, and I think I bought a Christmas sweater, a Spirit jersey. That was
Dude, we got a bunch of Spirit jerseys in this house.
Yeah. So I think that going forward, I think that we're going to see. I mean, you got a lot of different projects that they announced, and granted, we are a bi-weekly show. It's kind of pointless to touch on the new DVC tower, but you keep adding rooms, but you need to add more rides. It's gonna come to a halt. I think it's something.
There's gonna be. I think there's gonna be a fifth park.
I would eventually. Hope so.
Eventually, I think Epic Universe is gonna push it. We really haven't talked about this. Has been a strictly Disney episode. We're also we talk about Universal. Epic Universe, I think, is going to push Disney, and we benefit. As travelers and theme park enthusiasts, we are benefiting from the arms race these two companies are having. And I think Epic Universe and Super Nintendo World, I think they're going to push. They're going to push. And people are going to stop spending 2 or 3 nights at Universal and 5 nights at Disney. And you're going to see an even split. And then you're going to see 5 nights at Universal and 2 days at Disney. So then Disney's going to have to flip and keep up. And I'm telling you, I don't know what the 5th park will be. I don't know where exactly they're going to put it. But I would say within the next decade, we're going to hear of, the next gate.
Yeah.
So, we can only hope.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. So I will try to report on our social medias and maybe throw a video up. I'm not going to do a POV. I do have plans for different POVs throughout the park, but stay tuned.
You should do a bait. You should do a bait. Put Guardians of the Galaxy POV, and then just have you eating a hot dog at Casey's Corner or something.
That would be funny. Actually, you know what? That you just gave me an idea. I'll share out there. Anyway, all right. Well, as far as I know, Johnny, are we on Apple Podcast yet?
Not yet. I don't know why Podbean's taken so long, but we are on Spotify. So you could find us on Spotify, you could find us on Podbean, you could find us on Google Podcasts, but for some reason iTunes is their system is taking a little bit, but I don't even know how to reach out to customer support because it's through Podbean. So Podbean is like the middleman that gets you into there. So maybe I can reach out to Podbean and try to shake their feathers a little bit and see what's going on. But you can find us on Spotify.
So real quick before we go, if you listen to this show and you're a part of our Facebook page, let us know what you think as far as like expectations versus reality since reopening. Let us know what your thoughts are. And then I think
tell me what you think the fifth gate would be. If you like the thought of a fifth park, comment with that too. I'd love to read.
Yes, I want everyone's like, I want a Village Park. I want a Village Park. Do it. Like, I mean, they have
Tragic Kingdom, right? That was the rumor.
Yes, that was the rumor. That would be epic, but they're probably not.
Good choice of words. That'd be epic.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Anyway, as always, this is only our 4th episode. Thanks for tuning in. If this happened to go live on YouTube, thanks for watching.
And for those of you, if this doesn't go live on YouTube, for those of you who are listening on podcasts and John goes, over here you see this and over here you see that, just understand he was speaking to those who were watching on the YouTube.
I got to get better at that.
You got to see you'll learn over time. When you're because I do a fantasy football podcast. John's on there with me as well. It's called Toilets to Titles. You can check it out. So when we're doing mock drafts and stuff, what people forget that there's people that are listening to audio only. So you have to get better at describing visuals. Yes. You'll get there. Yes. You'll get there. It's a practice.
And yeah, we'll definitely try to put some links to the articles on Disney Parks blog in that. Johnny, they can find you where on social media?
So on the Twitter, I am at Coach Sheps. On Facebook, I am at Johnny MOMT. So you could check me out on there.
And our co-host, Alyssa, who is not here with us, you can find her at Alyssa MONT. And me, you can find me on the TikToks, and I haven't set up my Instagram yet, at Mighty Oak Travels, and I am also Hot Take Yinzer on Twitter. Don't ask me about the origins of that name.
Ask him on Twitter.
Yes, ask me on Twitter. I will gladly reply. So that being said, let us know in the comments what topics you want to cover, and we will be bringing on guests from our agency in the future, so stay tuned. Again, this is John.
I'm Johnny.
And thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.
Soon.
Oh boy.